Joining us from the Netherlands, she is a respected family parenting expert and passionate voice in the field of conscious communication. Through her work, she empowers parents with tools to raise emotional intelligence. There's a lot about emotional intelligence today, which is incredible, for children and build stronger family connections. I'm so excited to hear her speech all about modern parenting and the key to conscious communication with your child, which perfectly leads on to just the other discussion we just had about the TEDx speech. So, wow, amazing.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Ingrid Bax. I'm honored to be invited to speak at the 21st Century Global Spiritual Leadership Entrepreneurship. The parents and educators nowadays have a high responsibility guiding the newborn little human beings to fully exploit their potential. And the big challenge is to guide as a parent those souls into becoming a lovely, independent human being. As today, it's still common for females to take up most of the parenting in families. And those mothers stand for the big task to guide their children into the 21st century. On the moment, I'm a public speaker and writer about parenting issues. I've proven strong in bringing structure to chaotic parenting situations and meeting the need for parents who experience enormous parenting stress with practical solutions. I will briefly outline the major problem I've encountered in many families when treating communication problems between parents and children. And this is the main subject. And then I will share a little bit about myself and how I become a family coach. And in the end, I'll tell you about my view on parenting and how I guide parents. In my earlier days as a family coach, I've been guiding expert parents with parenting problems. I've been a family coach in youth care for several years, and I've produced 2 international video summits with interviews from following parenting experts. Parenting, in my opinion, is the most responsible job of the world. As being Dutch, in Holland, motherhood is sometimes being made irrelevant and subordinate to jobs and organizations. And parenting is in reality a very responsible job. Children often need to be steered on a daily basis. At the other hand, my vision is that some children need a mother who raises them 7 days a week, and other children can cope with having their mother being 5 days a week in corporate environment. I'm aware that I do not have all the wisdom and still learning every day from all the wonderful things that can happen in families, but I'd like to share you my truth, which I developed while working with families through the years. Every family is different. Every child is different, and so are the parents. In addition, there are cultural differences, various circumstances in terms of living environment, work, and income. It would also be very boring if everyone was the same, could do the same things well, and had the same challenges. My God, then I think we will end up with millions of clones who all do the same job and do not complement each other. I don't think things will go well for planet Earth in the long term in that respect. The current things bring their own challenges, the current times, with increasing individualization, and we are all busy inventing new rules of the game, both on a personal level and on geopolitical level. So this morning's topic, I will try to explain children with a strong will and how to limit and get boundaries for them to feel safe. As a parent with a child on the way, you often live on a pink cloud. In your mind, you already see a beautiful picture of a cute baby to cuddle. And you curiously look at mothers cycling past with 2 exemplary children in their cargo bike. What are the problems of these families in these times? Children are often wise into themselves, and on the other hand are eager to learn all about the new world they are exposed in coming from their mother's womb. Who hasn't experienced when you are in a supermarket and a toddler is screaming on the floor because mommy doesn't want to buy his favorite child buenas? You would prefer to sink through the ground, but such behavior is also part of your child's development. He or she is screaming, hitting, being unable to calm down. Or you heard a 9-year-old girl next door screaming for hours every day. A report of child abuse is made to the police and parents claim that they really didn't hit. Or the colleague at work who is about to fall over and she tells at the coffee machine that she's so sleep deprived because her son doesn't want to go to sleep at night. And it sometimes takes up to 2 hours for the sleeping ritual to end. So in short, to sketch general problem in modern parenting, how to handle explosive child situations where your child has tantrums, which seems endlessly, and you as a parent feel emotionally drained. As a mother, it's valuable to explain to your child the needs of others. For instance, when a child in the morning must go to school and it's lingering and has a slow pace, explain to your child the need of a teacher. It explains that your teacher wants to start her lessons in time, and the way your child behaves doesn't help that very much. I found that a lot of children are getting angry when something unexpected happens. They want to have clarity into situations, to what they are heading for. And these children want to have a lot of information and explanations before entering a new situation. They want to have a certain kind of scheme. As a matter of fact, these children want to be very proactive. And in the end, they will end up as leaders when mature, being very proactive and taking responsibilities for their deeds. The world needs these capabilities in order to become a peaceful heaven. As a family coach, I've seen many parents struggle with their children. When working in youth care in the Netherlands, I often came into families with the Child Protection Measure, OTS. OTS stands for Children Being Placed Under Supervision. This means that a report has been made to the police about child neglect or abuse. And the Dutch organization Save at Home is then called in, which must protect the child. Families, to ensure that the parent is stable enough to take care of these children, a family coach comes in. Families without OTS often have problems with busy children who do not want to listen. And when working in youth care, I came into much of these families, and I heard many times, my child doesn't listen. And the request is whether, as a family coach, I can tackle the child so that he or she will listen again. And the first thing I always tell parents, I guide not only the child to listen to your command, but also the parents. You are a whole family, and it's one system. And if something goes on wrong in communication with your child, I look at the entire family, not only at the child, but also the parents have to do their homework. In psychology, this is called the systemic guidance, because the family is seen as one system, and this can possibly be expanded to include sport clubs, neighbors, school, daycare, which are also sometimes involved in coaching. All these factors influence a child. Coming from a corporate background, I've been training employees and advising board of directors for more than 15 years. And that helped a lot about learning how to guide children also as parents. So getting back to the tantrums which a lot of children have nowadays, and which can last for several hours in worst cases, what are the triggers these children get into being brought into such a state, and they can't control themselves anymore? A child may cry because of physical discomfort, such as hunger, a dirty diaper, or because it's tired. It can also become angry because he or she doesn't get his way. This can lead to a tantrum or a short, intense outburst of anger. Tantrums mostly occur when a child is between the 1 or 4-year-old. It is often called the toddler puberty. But I had some cases where the child who experienced tantrum was older, even sometimes 13 or 14 years old. When small, it mostly occurs most often in boys than girls, because in girls, anger most of the times turns inside. And sometimes fear is the main driving force behind anger. Fear of losing connection with the parents, for example. A child may feel powerless and become angry Or he or she may test his limits and want to have it his way. If you are a parent not feeling well, your child can take over that energy. Finally, a child can be overstimulated. We call it high sensitivity. Too many stimulus, which it can't process during the week or during when being at school. And when safe at home, the child really starts to cry, to scream, because with the mother and or sometimes the father, it can feel safe and really release. In the case of children fearing losing connection, the child is going back and front between wanting to have things going his own way and, at the other hand, wanting to have the sympathy and the love of his parents. And with inconsequent parents, a child can try daily how far he can get his will pushed through. About the subject of overstimulation, with all highly sensitive children who pick up daily detail in their environment, the basket gets easily overflowed. They see, hear, smell, taste everything, and when at home, they explode. So what can you do as a parent educator? You can ignore your child's negative behavior in the supermarket. It is wise to stay nearby if it lies angrily on the ground and it feels not disconnected, but you don't have to say anything and stay calm. Tantrums can often be prevented by being clear in advance. Set rules with your child. Ask for his consent when having these rules in place. If you have agreed with your child not to buy sweets in the supermarket, stick to it and be consequent. Every situation is different, and that tomorrow you have to stick to the old regime again when it's allowed to have one sweet. For instance, where you are tired in the weekend and don't want to dress up, tell your child you're having a pajamas day because you are tired and it's quite fun to have a relaxed day with the family. Tell him tomorrow it will be like the old scheme again. Everybody must get dressed again. Another method when tantrums are countered is giving your child a timeout. And timeouts often apply at home by parents. That method is putting a child in a separate room to calm down. There are proponents and opponents of this. The opponents think it's a kind of punishment which gives the child an extra negative emotion. And the proponents say it also gives rest to the parents who don't have to be in the emotional space of the child. It depends, in my opinion, on the character of the child what works is best. Some sensitive children want to be around the parent and calm down. If you as a parent get on with your normal routine in the house, and other children need their own safe space. For instance, their sleeping room to calm down. A child does not thrive on rejection, but if you let him cool down in his room and make rules upfront about this in advance to help your child, calling his room a safe space to release, it can work fine. Some children need just an arm around them to calm down. Still, other children can regulate their emotions themselves. As a parent, you can build moments of rest into the days to stimulate the child's development. Have an hour of rest during the day, sitting next to a child and look together at his favorite picture book. So in general, there are a lot of methods to calm down your child, but being proactive is very, very important. And I also recommend all parents go to your children a lot walking into nature, because in that way your child can get grounded and he can control his own emotions better up front before he is getting out of control again. Are there any questions to ask, to answer? Let's see. Okay. I don't see any questions.
First of all, amazing. Wow, so
Thank
many
you.
insightful tips, hints. And I think the word just alone, conscious, is so, so important. And I love that you provided so many different examples so that like with everything, it's all about intention and that not one way works for every single person. So it's just having that different perspective. So I really loved your tips and your hints. And I'm sure for educated, for parents, anyone, it's just again, It's about just really just stopping, being present, focusing on that particular child and their individual needs. So I really loved your discussion. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. It was an honor to present. Thank you.